Bernice, and welcome to my podcast. I'm so glad you decided to join me today. I wanted to create a podcast to remind you that skating is for everyone. On today's episode, we're going to be talking to Belle Buehrle from Huntsville, Alabama, about her skating and skating in college. So sit back, grab a mug of your favorite beverage, and listen to this episode of On the Ice with Bernice. Hello, Belle. I'm just so glad you could come and talk with me a little bit today. I have seen you been skating, and I remember meeting you at the National Showcase this past summer, and it was just so much fun to see you skate. I think you did something like, 4 programs?
Yes, hey Bernice, it's so great to see you again. I did do, how many did I do? Yeah, 4 programs?
I don't remember, but it was a lot. It was
really
very
was.
impressive.
It was impressive how you can pull off an axle.
Oh, I know. I've been working on it. It's just taking me a lot of work because, my butt's pretty big, so it takes a lot to get around all those times, but it is good.
If you fall, at least you have some cushioning, so that's good.
Oh, I know. I might break my hip, but, it's worth it. It's worth it.
Always worth it.
So I've seen you on Instagram, and I've seen you skate, and I was just wondering, what inspires you about skating? Like, why did you start skating in the first place?
Let's see. It was 11 years ago, almost to the day. I believe it was like December 10th, and today is the 9th that this interview is happening. And my second grade class went on a field trip to see the Nutcracker on Ice at our rink in Huntsville. And one of our classmates was in the show, and the next day I'm like, hey, I want to go skating. That looks pretty easy. So I got on the ice and I'm like, hey, this is actually pretty easy. So I don't know, it just kind of came naturally. And I've always been like a very creative person. Like I really like dancing and skating, and just like I want to be a choreographer one day. So that has been a lot of my inspiration, just like the never-ending urge in me to just like move and create. And yeah, I think my inspiration would just be the gifts that God's given me, honestly. Like I've never had the goal of making it to the Olympics or making it to nationals, and I'm glad, because that would have really made my life look a lot different. And I'm glad where I am today. But I just never wanted to go to that big world stage. I just always wanted to create something beautiful with skating.
Oh, well, that's a lovely goal. And I think it's good to let people know that there are things in skating other than just going to the Olympics.
Yeah.
For some people, it's just not about that. Well, that's also a good goal to have, but there are other parts of skating other than that. So Now you mentioned, I know you've done National Showcase, and have you done anything else in skating?
Let's see. I've been to National Showcase 6 times now. I've been to sectionals once. I've been to regionals maybe 2 or 3 times. I don't remember. I've been doing theater on ice, and all of our competitions have actually been at our home rink. So we haven't really gone anywhere yet with that I remember. But, oh yeah, we went to Michigan. We went to Michigan for Showcase. No, that was theater. We went to Michigan for theater. But yeah, hopefully we get to go other fun places with the theater team. I've recently started working on testing my dance patterns. So that's something new that I'm dabbling in. I tried to start collegiate, but I don't think it's going to work out right now, but hopefully sometime in the future. But yeah, I have tried pretty much everything in skating except pairs, I think.
Do you think you would ever want to try pairs?
I'm not opposed to it, but I'm not going to move for a partner. So, and that's the thing. Like, if anyone doesn't know anything about skating, oftentimes the girl has to move to, like, because like guys in skating are very few and far between. So
I don't think I could ever do pairs because there's just too much of me to go around. So
quite
now you also mentioned collegiate skating. So you're in college now, aren't you?
yes, I am.
So what is that like? So you've been skating for 11 years and this is your first year in college?
Yes, it is.
How is skating different now that you're in college?
Well, I actually have a lot more freedom to skate whenever I want. I can make my own class schedule. I can skate whenever there's sessions at the rink. I I honestly could compete. I have the time, but I just don't have the mental energy, you know? Like
Mm,
it takes a certain amount of like determination, and I don't I mean I could see myself one day competing, but right now I just want to work on loving the sport instead
mm,
of viewing it as a chore every morning. So I skate every morning. I skate for like an hour, hour and a half. And I'm working on my jumps, on my spins. I am about to start working on showcase for next year. So very excited for that. Um, but yeah, it's different in some ways, but like in other ways, like it's not at all different. Like I'm still training every day. And when I tell people that I'm still skating every day, they're just like, really? You can actually do that? Like, yes, you can do that. Don't think that just because you go to college, you aren't going to be able to skate every day, unless you live somewhere where there is no rink, like some
mm.
people. It's sad.
Do you have any advice for any people who are about to go to college and who do want to continue skating?
Ooh. Okay. If you truly love skating, only keep doing it if you truly love it. Because now is a time in your life where things are going to change so much. Like, I was not prepared for how much things have changed. Um, but skating has always been the one constant for me. So if you have that kind of love for skating, pursue it.
Mm, I like that. And I completely understand because I mean, I've pursued skating for a long time and it's because I truly love it. Um, but yeah, I like that advice.
Thank you. How many years have you been skating?
Oh, way too long. Let's see, I started in 49, so, and I'm 82, and that's just a lot of math. I'm not a math person, so you
Me
can work
neither.
that out. Oh, well, that's lovely. So, you've competed and you do showcase and you do theater, and now you're skating in college. But I've also seen you on Instagram. Now, why did you decide to start an Instagram page?
Well, I think it was my sophomore or junior year of high school, like the end of the year. Yeah, it was the end of my sophomore year. And one of my best friends had an Instagram and she was getting a lot of followers really quick and she was making really fun videos. And I'm like, hey, I could totally do this. So I begged my dad for one and he's like, okay, when school ends, you can have an Instagram, a skating Instagram. Like I already had my personal Instagram. But I just started posting and I have a certain love for creating content on social media. I used to have a YouTube channel and I kind of want to start that back up again because it's just really fun to me. And I just started trying to make fun videos. I really got into it like a year or so ago. Like I was cranking out some content that I worked really hard on and I was really proud of it and it had a really good response from my audience. Um, but yeah, my friend got me into it and ever since then it's just only gotten better. But recently I haven't been posting because usually when I'm there in the morning there aren't a lot of people to like film me and I could film myself, but I've just kind of run dry of ideas recently.
Mm,
But hopefully soon I will make a comeback and start posting a lot more because I do have quite a bit of ideas, but I just need to have the time and energy to make them come to life.
mm. Now, would you recommend for other people who are skaters to start their own YouTube channel or their own Instagram?
Um, ooh, what I recommended. So through Instagram, I've actually found a great skating community. I've um I've made a lot of friends through Instagram. I used to go to competitions and be like, "Oh, I know her from Instagram." And then people would come up to me and be like, "Oh, we follow you on Instagram." I'm like, "No way, that's so cool." But I just think it's really cool to form that network of people. And even if you don't have like if you're a skater and you don't have the skating Instagram, but you have an Instagram and you're involved with the skating world, like that's also like it's also really cool to just know people around. It's cool
Mm.
to know faces and know where people it's really cool. But I have a certain passion for social media, and I know not everyone has that. So like I wouldn't recommend it for everyone, but I would recommend definitely finding your community because it's really cool.
Mm. No, I like that. I think sometimes I've seen some Instagram. I'm still trying to figure the whole thing out. But I've seen some people on Instagram with skating accounts who just track their progress with it. They're not trying to build a following, but they are able to go back and look at their self a year or 2 years ago and see how they've progressed. And I think that's a good idea because I know sometimes I get very sad about not feeling that I'm progressing fast enough, but I might go back and look at a video from 2 or 3 years ago, or in my case, a lot longer, and I can see that I have progressed. And I think sometimes that's quite encouraging.
It really is, and I do know a lot of people who do that on Instagram, and even looking back through any skating Instagram page, you can absolutely see progress. Now, one of one of the things with me is that I never really landed my triples. I worked on them for four-ish years now, and I never really landed them. But I can go back and see the videos that I posted of me not landing them because we're not perfect. So why only want to post perfect content? Like if y'all follow me on Instagram, like you've seen my flop reels. Like I throw myself on the ice. It's brutal. Anyways, um, but I could see all that progress that I've been making. I can see my jumps getting stronger. I can see my spins getting faster. I can see just like progress, and it's really nice.
Mm. Do you think there's anything bad about having an Instagram and being on Instagram all the time, looking at all the skating videos and seeing all these other people, maybe achieving their goals and things like that? Is there anything that, people should be looking out for?
Absolutely. I actually forgot to mention that part. I was going to, but I forgot. Um, there were there were times where I would look at my friends who were competing against me start to land their triples, and I wasn't. And I would see all the Russian skaters like every year there would be a new star, and I'm like, how come like I haven't rose to that kind of level yet? Like the comparison is really toxic. So and people give unsolicited advice. Like if I post something just to just say, hey, this is my progress, people will like kind of coach me, and I'm like, well, thanks for the input, but I kind of have like four coaches for that. So, but it does mess with your head, like as if skating doesn't mess with your head enough. It's not as if it's not toxic enough in some places. Like opening yourself up to that kind of vulnerability on social media where people can hide behind a screen and say mean things about your skating is even worse. So I definitely recommend being careful on social media and not listening to the haters because let me tell you, if someone leaves a mean comment on your video of your jump, chances are they can't even do a bunny hop. Just saying, because skating is very hard, and yeah, but it's tough.
Mm. Now, in terms of skating being hard, because we both know it is since we're both figure skaters, what do you think is the thing you've struggled most in skating?
The thing I struggle most in skating, oof, there are a few things. First would be my triples because, let's see, I competed in intermediate for 2 years, and I was, how old was I? Oh my gosh. I think I was like 15 and 16. Like, that's old for an intermediate girl, like in today's world, which I really wish I wish it would be a little more normal, which there are a couple girls in intermediate that are that old. But at the time I was competing against 13 and 14-year-olds, and I was the only one who could drive. But all these girls who were a lot younger than me were getting their triples, and I wasn't, because I've been working on them for so long. I worked on my triples with so many coaches, and I never landed it clean. Like, I stayed up on one foot maybe a total of 3 times in my life, and they weren't clean. But and that was really hard to watch everyone else make that kind of a progress and not be able to experience the joy of landing a new jump again. So I put my triples on the shelf for a year. And yesterday, I kid you not, yesterday, a guest coach comes to our rink and is like, okay, so let me see your triple sound. I'm like, are you joking me? Absolutely not. So I fully expected to break myself, but I didn't. I actually picked right up where I left off, and that kind of gave me some confidence. So sometimes you think things aren't going to work out for you. Like, I never thought I would land triples, and I accepted that fate. But some new things might give you hope. Just a little wisdom I picked up the other day. Another thing that was really hard was running programs. I have a certain strong dislike for running programs. I am very bad at stamina, and I would be wheezing at the end of a long program every single time I ran, like no matter how much I trained it. So I would just resent training like that. And that's also a big reason why I didn't compete in collegiate stuff this year, because um I didn't want to I didn't want to have that kind of resentment for going into the rink every morning, because it is all my responsibility to go to the rink every day. And if I'm not liking what I'm doing, then I'm not going to follow through with it. And I'm going to eventually fall off. And that's not what I wanted. So I wanted to have a good reason to go to the rink, which is because I love to skate. So there. I also, there was a long period of time where I wanted to quit, like every week. I wanted to quit. I didn't know what I was doing in skating. I didn't know where I was going with my life. I didn't know what my future would look like. But looking back, like, that brought me perseverance through those hardest times, brought me some of the biggest successes. Like, if I had quit, I never would have gotten the chance to go to sectionals. I never would have gotten the chance to compete at the Parade of Champions, a national showcase. And I never would have gotten the chance to do what I'm going to do in the future. And I'm just glad that, and my parents were even like, okay, you can quit. And I'm like, wait, what? And they didn't let me quit. I mean, they let me quit, but I didn't want to. I just thought I wanted to. So we all struggle with the will to quit, but my advice is to just go back to the reason you love skating. For me, it's performing, it's entertaining. And now I'm just going to focus on showcase, because that's what I love to do, and that's what's going to keep me in the sport that I
love. I really like that advice. To find, you've said this a couple times, but just to find what you love in skating and to just keep doing that. And I'm just so glad that you found something in skating that you love. And I just can't wait to see you perform again. And especially in showcase next year. I sure can't. I'm just excited to see what you come up with, because I've heard from other skaters in past years that, I haven't seen you for the first time I saw you skate was this past summer. And so it just, you seem like a very creative person. And yeah, I'm very excited for that.
Well, thank you. I'm excited for what's coming next too. Even though I have no idea what I'm doing, I might reuse some old programs. I might not. I really don't know. I might turn something old into something new.
Well, I don't even know what that means, but I'm just so excited to see it. Now, if anybody out there wants to see more of Belle skating, Belle, how can they find you on Instagram?
So my Instagram is at Belle, BELLE _SK8S.
I'm going to have to go look that up and follow you myself. I'm still trying to figure out the Instagram, but maybe I can find you and follow you.
If you can figure out a podcast, I think you can figure out Instagram.
Well, it's not all me. Like I have some of my relatives helping me out. I just stand here and talk. But Belle, it was so lovely to have you here today on my podcast. I'm just so glad to be able to talk to you a little bit and figure out why you love skating. And yeah, I hope to see more of you in the future.
Well, thank you so much for having me. I really enjoyed this.
Thank you for listening to this episode of On the Ice with Bernice. Today, we talked with Belle Buehrle about her skating and skating in college. Be sure to subscribe and follow On the Ice with Bernice on social media. If you really liked today's episode, consider supporting me, Bernice, and my podcast, On the Ice with Bernice, on Patreon. And remember, everyone is welcome on the ice.